Welcome to Lovegrove Wellness. Before you begin, please ensure that you are in good physical condition and ready to exercise. If you have any questions in regards to this, please consult with your doctor. Yoga for runners. Begin in mountain pose at the top of the mat. Sun salutations. Rising the arms, inhale, extended mountain pose. Exhale, bend the knees, hinging, forward fold. Inhale, step the right foot back. And exhale to drop the knee into crescent lunge. Inhale, rise the arms up in line with the ears. Exhale, hips push forwards, rising the eyes if comfortable. Inhale, hands down, back knee lifts. Exhale, step back to downwards facing dog. Taking a vinyasa, rolling to plank, inhale, wrists in line with shoulders, knees down for the option. Exhale, lower the chest first. Inhale, lifting into cobra or upwards facing dog, pushing the floor away, lifting the knees if possible. Exhale, push the hips high for downwards facing dog, opening the shoulders by rolling the armpits in towards each other. Inhale, lift the right leg for three-legged dog, and exhale to step to the outside of the right hand into lizard pose. Just starting to take some hip circles now, big circles with the hips out and in. If this is uncomfortable to keep the hands on the floor and the hips are lifting, you may wish to use a block for your hands. Stepping back to downwards facing dog. Step the right foot between the hands now to lunge. Inhale. Exhale, step the left foot in to forward fold. Inhale, rise the arms up for extended mountain pose. Exhale, bringing the arms back down for mountain pose. Second side, inhale, extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold, crown of the head relaxes towards the mat. Inhale, left foot steps back to lunge. Exhale, knee down. Inhale, rise the arms up, keep the shoulders open. Exhale, hips push forwards, eyes rise if comfortable. Inhale, hands down, framing the front foot, lift the back knee, and exhale, push back to downwards facing dog, pressing the chest towards the thighs. Moving to a vinyasa, inhale to roll to plank, knees down if comfortable. Exhale, lower for chaturanga. Inhale, lifting to cobra or upwards facing dog. Exhale, push back for downwards facing dog. Bending the knees if that's more comfortable on the backs of the legs. Inhale, take the left leg high for three-legged dog, and exhale to step to the outside of the left hand, coming back into the lizard hip circles, big circles outwards and inwards. Stepping back to downwards facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot between the hands to lunge. Lift the chest and exhale, right foot into forward fold. Inhale, rise the arms up for extended mountain pose. Exhale, arms down to mountain pose. Inhale, rise the arms, extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right foot steps back to lunge. Exhale, left foot back to downwards facing dog. Taking a flow. Inhale to roll to plank. Knees down for the option. Exhale, lower halfway chaturanga. Elbows back. Inhale, lifting to cobra or upwards facing dog, opening the front of the body. Exhale, push back to downwards facing dog, hips high, working the heels towards the mat. Inhale, lift the right leg for three-legged dog. Exhale, sweeping across the body, coming into modified pigeon. Bring the knee towards the wrist, sitting onto the right hip and bending the left knee to the side. Take an inhale to lift up through the chest and exhale to walk forwards. Flexing the front foot to protect the knee. To increase the stretch further through the glutes, you may wish to bring the front leg more towards a 90-degree angle, eventually aiming to have the shin parallel to the top of the mat. Holding in your extended pigeon pose, using your exhale to maybe work closer down towards the floor. Walking the hands back up, bringing the chest up, take the hands to the floor, tuck the back toes and push back to downwards facing dog with the hips up high. Take one breath here and then rolling forwards onto the hands and knees. Take the knees wider than the hips, feet together and push back into child's pose. Reaching the arms long in front and resting the forehead down towards the mat. Moving back onto the hands and knees into tabletop, tuck the toes, lift the hips high and take an exhale for downwards facing dog. Take the left leg high for three-legged dog inhale and then exhale to sweeping across, bring the knee to the wrist, coming into modified pigeon on the other side. Sit the left hip down and bending the right knee to the side. Start to walk the arms forwards for extended pigeon pose. Walking the hands back up, lift the chest, tuck the back toes and push back to downwards facing dog. Taking one breath here before dropping to the knees again and coming back into your resting position for child's pose. Walking yourself back up, we're going to come into a seated position, so just swiveling the feet round to the front, coming onto the bottom, taking the legs out for staff pose. Just moving the fleshy parts of the bottom out of the way so you're sitting on the bony parts of the bum, toes active towards the ceiling, and if this is too much on the backs of the legs, you can take the knees bent slightly apart from each other. Coming into a forward fold, rising the arms, take an inhale and then exhale, hinging from the hips, tilting forwards over the legs for a forward fold. Think of pulling the tailbone away from you and the pelvis tilting towards the mat. You may wish to take the hands either side of the legs or maybe grab round the sides of the feet. lengthening all the way through from the base of the spine. Inhale, reach the arms forwards, rising above the head, and then exhale to bring the hands down by the sides. Make your way to the top of the mat, take the feet hip width apart and take hold behind the backs of the legs and roll down through the spine into a lying position. Moving into a hamstring sequence, take the right leg up towards the ceiling and taking hold behind the back of the leg, either onto the hamstring, the calf, maybe holding the foot, or you might want to take one hand to the hamstring and one hand to the calf. Keep the right hip down on the floor whilst you use the exhale to bring the leg towards the body. If this is uncomfortable on the neck, you may wish to place a thin cushion or block under your head. To open up the hips, take the left hand to the hip and the right hand to the inside of the leg, either on the thigh or the calf. Just start to allow the right hip to open out to the side. Use the left hand to anchor the hip down on the floor, working into the inside of the legs and opening up through the hips. Bringing the leg back to center, taking the right arm out to the side and the left arm to the outside of the leg, and then bringing both legs across the body, dropping over to the opposite direction, eye line either up towards the ceiling or over to the extended arm. Bringing the leg back to center, moving into figure 4 pose, taking the foot and crossing the ankle over the knee, allow the knee to drop out to the side, and taking hold of the left leg, bringing the left foot up off the floor, pulling the legs towards you to work into the outside of the glutes and the lower back. Releasing the legs back down to the floor, we'll take the sequence on the second side. So taking the left leg up for the hamstring stretch, taking hold behind the back of the leg wherever is comfortable, and keeping the hip down on the floor. Starting to open up the hip, take the right hand to the hip to act as an anchor and the left hand to the inside of the leg, and on the exhale just opening the left leg out to the side to open the hip. Bringing the leg back to center, Releasing the left arm out to the side, take the right arm across the body to the outside of the left leg and pull both legs over across the body, keeping the shoulders square and the eye line towards the ceiling or over to the extended arm. Returning the leg back to centre, moving into figure 4 pose, cross the left ankle over the right knee, letting the knee drop out to the side, and then taking hold behind the back of the right leg, lifting the foot off the floor and pulling the legs towards you for figure 4 pose to open the hips and stretch through the glutes and lower back. Releasing the feet, we'll finish off with some twists. Take the arms out to the side in line with the shoulders with the palms facing down. Bring the knees up in line with the hips, shins parallel to the floor. Take an inhale and exhale to drop the knees over to your right side, aiming to keep the knees glued together. Shoulders remain square and the eye line is up to the ceiling or over in the opposite direction. Inhale, bring the knees back through center and exhale over to your left side, again gluing the knees together, shoulders square, eyes to the ceiling or over to the right hand. Bringing the knees back to center, our final pose is waterfall pose. Take the arms down the sides of the body and take the legs up towards the ceiling, keeping the legs fairly straight. If you find this uncomfortable, you can take legs up the wall instead by coming sideways onto the wall with the hips as close as you can and then shifting the legs up the wall, lying on your back. If this is uncomfortable on the neck, you may wish to place a thin block or a pillow under the head. Bending the knees, take hold behind the backs of the legs, take a few rocks forward and back through the spine, and then coming up to a seated position to finish. And thank you for joining me for today's Yoga for Runners.